Increasing closing rates. Many people, and I had some great conversations this morning, are really great with presentations, they're good with their demonstration, but they're very weak when it comes to actually converting those leads into sales. So I'll give you a couple of tips without knowing the subtlety of the context of the question. If you can just envision a pipeline, right? Like a sales funnel. Everyone please just draw a funnel. Okay. Everyone draw. No, I don't mean with your hands, I mean on a piece of paper. This is fun, but this is good. Yeah? It's like Simon says. Yeah. So just draw a funnel, right? And of course, a funnel is wide at the top and then it gets more narrow as you go down, right? So at the top of the funnel, you're going to have what some people call them prospects. Some people call it suspects. Dun dun dun, right? Because they're suspicious of you. Who are you? So you can call them suspects, right? They're suspicious. They don't know who you are. Suspects. Once they know you a little bit, okay, maybe now they're prospects. Okay. All right. So at the top of the funnel, you've got your suspects and your prospects. Then you've got, and those you can also call them leads. You can call prospects leads. Okay. Doesn't mean they're qualified, but you can call them leads. The next stage in the funnel, though, you can call these new opportunities. New opportunity. So an opportunity and a lead are not the same thing. Some people use the language synonymously, but it's not true. A contact is not an opportunity, right? If I say, hey, do you know anyone that needs help in sales, and someone goes, oh, I don't know, maybe Jason, he runs a business, talk to Jason. Okay, that's not an opportunity, that's simply a lead. Right? You see the distinction, right? It's just a contact, a connection, introduction, potential lead, right? But once I talk to Jason and I ask him some qualifying questions, and in my first book I write about qualifying, and I call them the 3 A's of qualifying. This is a whole other subtopic. The 3 A's: ask, afford, authority. What's the ask? Do they have a very specific ask? Like, does Jason say, yes, I've got a sales team and I really need them to optimize their process. I need to get them better. I'm planning on doing some kind of sales training in Q1 of 2017. Ooh, there's a specific ask. Afford, right? Does he have budget? Does he have money? If he doesn't, he's not a prospect. He's just, a tire kicker, someone who's interested. But he doesn't have the money for it, so can he afford it? And then the other A is authority. Is Jason the guy to say yes or no? Does he have decision-making authority? See, one of the biggest challenges salespeople have or business owners have is they're pitching to the wrong person. They're talking to someone who can only say no. A gatekeeper, right? They can only say no. But if you were to give them a pen and say, can you sign this contract? I can't sign that. Why not? I don't have authority. Well, then why am I wasting my time trying to sell to people who can never say yes, but they can only say no? That's one of the biggest challenges. So when we talk about, how do you increase your closing rate, it could be, are you qualifying effectively? Are you reaching the right person? Sometimes you can have a lot of leads, but they're not well qualified, so they have a very low probability of close anyway. So it's finding that balance between quality and quantity. So you got your suspects, your prospects. New opportunities is when there's something actually, like there's a possibility that something could happen with Jason, right? He's going to engage a sales training organization, but will it be mine? That's an opportunity. Then you go from a new opportunity to a working opportunity. So you've qualified effectively, you've done a needs analysis, a thorough needs analysis. You've identified what are the biggest challenges that company has. You've identified what are their desired outcomes. You've presented your offering to them. This is a working opportunity. You've gotten past the gatekeeper and actually reached the decision maker or decision makers. You're in conversation with the right people. This is a working opportunity. Then the next stage is closing opportunity. Closing. So this is where I would put things that you're at about an 80% probability of close now when you get to the closing stage. So you've had all of your meetings, you've got conceptual agreement. This is a term that I like to use. You've got conceptual agreement. And now you're in the negotiation phase. Not negotiating over budget, because don't mistake that. Negotiating over budget. No, we've already determined budget. We're negotiating perhaps terms. Minor things here or there, right? Not like you're talking 10 and they're talking 5. This is not this is not what I'm talking about. You're quite far here. But it's little things like deposits, right? Oh, we require a 50% deposit. Well, can you do 25, right? Things around deposits, payment terms, that type of thing, right? So that's kind of the closing, negotiating, and then finally like asking for the sale. So a lot of people struggle around asking for the sale. So here's what I want you guys to do just right now real quick. As you look at the funnel, I want you please just to put a little tick mark or an X or an asterisk, something around the part, the stage in the pipeline where you tend to get stuck. Where do you bottleneck? Is it in getting more leads? Is it in qualifying them? Is it getting past gatekeepers and reaching decision makers? Is it around doing needs assessments? Is it around your proposal? Is it around closing? Because it's different for everybody. A lot of people say, hey, I need to be better at sales. But there's so many different stages in the sales process. So just take 30 seconds and just identify where do you tend to get stuck.
It's basically the same for B2C.
Absolutely the same. The stages are the same.
Okay.
Things will just happen faster in B2C, right? All of this is just accelerated.
We have one answer.
Okay, what is that?
Closing.
Closing stage. Okay. So, what are some of the reasons why you're not closing?
Maybe pricing.
Maybe pricing?
I'm just guessing.
Okay. So guessing is dangerous.
Okay, so pricing, let's say pricing.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay. So now I'm going to do a little bonus stuff right now.
Yeah.
Okay, because everything goes into sub things. Okay. Many people feel like price is the reason because we tend to just go there. That's not always the case. So here's what I encourage you to do. Little tip. Take a look at the last 3 sales you lost. So think about the last 3 sales you lost, the last 3 opportunities that went south. Have an honest discussion with yourself, your team, and also get feedback from the customer if you can. Why did you not choose us? Who did you choose and why? What could we have done that could have swayed your decision? What were we missing? And tell them we need this. This is really useful feedback to help us improve our offering to customers. Because you might find that it's actually something you can do, but you just didn't articulate it well enough. So ask your customer, get feedback. It's the only way we can learn. I'll tell you why you lost it, and it's one of 4 things. Please write down these 4 letters. P-E-T-E, Pete. It's a customer called Pete. And Pete's a tricky guy. Pete always has 4 main objections. Pete tends to object on price. Pete also sometimes objects around effort. It's too complicated. It doesn't seem easy, right? This is a bit of a hassle to switch, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Pete sometimes also objects to time. Well, this takes too long, right? No, we need this now. Yesterday, all right? You know what I'm talking about, HID? All right, cool, right? Right? Objects to time. And finally, how long have you been doing this?
Business since 2009.
Okay, so this, okay, all right. Pete also objects to effectiveness, which is tied in a little bit. Effectiveness, as in, hey, the price is great. Yeah, no, the price is perfect, and it actually seems really easy, and you can do it quite quickly. Wow. I just don't believe it's going to work. I ain't buying it. Where's the proof that this will work? I don't believe this is the right solution for us. I don't think you fully get the scope of this project. I think you're missing something. I don't think this is the right solution for us. It's not going to work.
Do you think there could be anything beyond these 4?
I would challenge anybody to come up with any objection that cannot in some way be fit into one of those 4. bring it on, right? You ready? Into one of those 4 categories. So I worked with one group, and we actually brainstormed and shared about 10 different objections that all, upon reflection, fit into one of those 4 categories, right? It could be around, we don't have enough stock, right? Well, again, that's an effectiveness issue, or it could also be a timing issue, right? You can't get the stock available in time, right? So they all fit within these 4 broad categories, but it just makes things nice and easy when you just think about Pete, right, as that customer. So my answer to your question is, so just think about that, and each of you please think about your last 3 lost deals. And it had to do with one of those 4, maybe more, but at least one of those 4 categories of objection. Price objection can be further divided, subdivided. And you'll know this, but I'm just going to articulate it. So price can be subdivided into 2 subcategories of price. One is affordability. Affordability, as in, I can't afford it. Looks great, I love it, I just don't have enough money. I don't have enough budget for that. That's more than we planned on spending. I have champagne dreams, but a beer budget. All right? So that's a common. How many of you have heard that objection before, right? It's more than we plan on spending, we just don't have it. So that's a budget issue. Some will say budget, but it's not, but sneaky. But affordability is one subcategory. The second one is value. Oh, I can afford it. I just don't think it's worth it. Right? Oh, I can afford your services. I just don't see the value. I don't think it's worth it. Why are your fees so high? We have that budget. I just don't think you're the one. I don't think. Why are you charging that? You guys see the distinction? That's a huge distinction. Huge distinction. Value perception. Any bottled water anywhere around here? Bottled water. All right. My man. May I see that bottle? Thank you. How much did you pay for this?
Maybe 150.
150. Okay, so he spent 150 for this. What if I were to say, my friend, $10, okay? $10? No. Can you, come on, man. Hey, this is business. You've got $10, right? You can't afford $10?
Maybe it depends where you sell it to me.
Where? Yeah, right. If it's out in the desert, right?
Desert or a 5-star.
So.
Maybe more in a desert.
Yeah, all right. So if he's having his last breath, and he's out wandering in the desert, and he is just like, oh my God, I'm so parched. And I'm like, dude, I only got this much left. $10 is okay? He's like, bring it on. Because now the value of this drop of water has gone up exponentially. True or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, the value's gone up tremendously. If, however, thank you, life is good, man. We're indoors, we've got air conditioning happening, and I'm like, $10? He's like, dude, I can get this water for free. I can top it up over there for free. So it's not affordability, it's value. So what I encourage everybody to do is when you're faced with a price objection, in your own words, because what works for me doesn't work for everybody, in your own words, try asking your prospect, okay, so when you say that it's too expensive, do you mean it's more than you planned on spending, as in it's beyond your budget, or do you not see the value at that price? Because the answer to that question will take you in 2 very different directions as to how do we respond. If it's affordability, you talk about things like deferred payment, financing, increments. Okay, well, why don't we start half the project now and half later? You just talk about ways to make it more affordable. Maybe slight discounting, which I hate, but let's say volume discount. We'll tell you what, if you buy more, we'll give you a bit of a deal, right? Or we'll get a long-term commitment. That's around affordability. Then there's value. Okay, well, do we need to start demonstrating the value more, what we would call perhaps ROI selling? As in, what's the return on your investment?
Right.
Rather than just focusing on the initial cost or the initial spend, how much are you saving in the long run by picking us versus a competitor? You could charge 10% more than market rate, but if your product or service is, 5 times more productive or profitable for them, you should be able to close that deal in your sleep.
Yeah.
So again, it's just determining, is it an affordability or a value issue? So around price war, I've told people don't negotiate, don't get into this price war, because I think one of the things that we heard, what you shared, my friend, was that, what was it, 95% of businesses can't scale up?
Yeah, they hit a growth plateau.
Right, they hit a growth plateau. I dug deeper into the numbers and saw 47%. The reason was because they were just at a break even.
48% on break even.
Ah, right, 48% were break even. Well, break even is quite simple as a concept. It's break even because your revenue and your expenses are the same. So you've got to do one of two things or both. Lower your costs and increase your revenue. You can do that by raising your price. So I did a Facebook Live video. I don't know if you saw this one, my friend, but I did a Facebook Live video about how to raise your prices. And I would challenge everybody, raise your prices. Raise your prices, because the effort it takes to sell is the same anywhere. It is, right? It is. Your effort to sell something at $1, I mean, these days, people are so cheap and so stingy. Even trying to get $1 from someone, you may as well be trying to get $5. But your probability of close will be the same, but your revenue will be a lot higher, so just charge more. I'll tell you, your costs are going up every year, but are your prices going up every year? Maybe not. Everyone's so afraid to raise their prices. I know, I'm not afraid. I believe in an 80-20 rule, okay, 80%. If you're closing 80% of your sales now with little pushback on price, little pushback on price, your prices are too low. I'll say that again. If you're closing over 80% of your deals with relatively little pushback on price,
What do you mean by pushback?
you'll know pushback when you get pushback, right? Like, ooh, Arcana, that's way too high. Can you do something for us? Versus, can we get a bit of a break? No, that's our best price. Yeah, okay, just thought I'd ask. That's not real pushback, because everybody wants a discount. So don't count that as like, oh my God, everyone's, no. But like serious, like you know that this is a deal breaker. That if you can't go down in price, this is a deal breaker. But if you're closing 80% of deals with little pushback, and did my definition help? Okay. If you're closing 80% with little pushback, your prices are too low. There needs to be a little pushback. If it's too easy to sell, your prices are too low. You're not selling, you're just, right? You know what I'm saying? You're not selling. You're not having to work for it. It's too easy. I would challenge everybody in this room to raise their prices by 5 or 10% and just see what happens. See what happens. Would you lose 10% of your business? I doubt it. I doubt it. I've done the math. If you go from, I've done the math. I'm not a mathematician, but I did the math. Let's say you had 10 clients at $10,000. 10 clients at $10,000. You say, you know what? Next year, I'm raising my fees to $11,000. Even if you lost 10% of your clients, now you have 9 people paying 11 versus 10 paying 10. It's the same. But now your fulfillment costs are less. You're more profitable now than you were before. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. I'm making more from fewer people. That, talk about scale. Now we're getting better now. Now we're getting better. So I would challenge everybody in this room, just get a little bit of swagger and up your fees. Raise your fees. Now, with current clients, because they're the worst, if you've been doing this for since 2009, right? You've been doing this for 21 years. Do you have long-term customers or no? Some, right? Some of them are like, hey man, buddy, I want the same rate from like 1982. Right? And you're like, oh, but they're a good customer. Well, not if they're paying you $5, they're not. So you got to train customers. Hey, love your business, appreciate it. We've had a great mutually beneficial partnership here. Just wanted to give you a heads up that in June of 2017, there'll be a slight increase to kind of, reflect the realities of current market conditions, etc. You're not going to lose 10% of your customers. Don't you freak out. Most companies want to make more money. Oh, I need more clients, I need more clients. No, you don't. Maybe your fees are too low. So just think about it. Just think about it. Just think about it. Businesses only care about two things, and it's two P's. I like making life easy because I'm so simple. Productivity and profitability. Productivity and profitability. If you can help a company become more productive, help them do more with less, help them become more efficient, you'll close deals. You'll close deals. If you can help a company earn more money or save more money, you will close deals. So this is ROI selling. So your number one job when you're demonstrating value is to demonstrate how you can help them either become more productive or more profitable. So I find in sales, when I just really focus on those two things, it makes my life a whole lot easier. It makes it a lot easier. Oh, what do they want? What do they want? We know what businesses want. They want to become more profitable or more productive or a combination of both. So does your offering help them achieve those two goals? If it doesn't, that's why you're struggling. That's why you're not closing deals. If it doesn't, that's why they're like, that was a great presentation. What does that mean? You looked good? Oh, it was a great presentation, Tom. Well done, but we're not buying from you. Well, then it wasn't a great presentation, I have to say. Then it wasn't, right? Because to me, a great presentation is one that has them going, great, when can I start? That's a great presentation. That demonstrated, so there's a presentation and then a demonstration of how we help you save money or become more productive. More productive or more profitable. So ROI appeals. So demonstrate value. You have to find out what are write down this acronym. I'm just full of acronyms. WITY. Witty. You're so witty. Right? Witty. That stands for what's important to you, customer. What's important to you? So here's the thing, and I love this. We talk about presenting. Oh, I did a great presentation. I hate presentations. If I have a company going, oh yeah, Tom, we're thinking about engaging someone for sales training. Can you come into our office and make a presentation? No. Make a presentation. What? Thank you. But really, what do you mean some presentation? Like it's some circus act or something? I'm going to make a presentation? I'm not making a presentation. I'll have a conversation with you about your biggest challenges in your organization and what your objectives are moving forward. I'll have a conversation with you about the level of competency of your sales team. I'll share with you some best practices and where they should be. And then we'll talk about a way forward, how we can work together and how I can help optimize the performance of your team. I'm happy to have a conversation about that. But the song and dance won't happen, right? If you want a presentation, here's a link to my YouTube video where you can actually see me in action. If that's what you want, you can do that. But we're going to have a conversation. When you start talking like that, people treat you with a whole lot more respect. Holy smokes. You're no longer seen as the dreaded V word. Vendor. I hate vendor. You're not a vendor, you're not a supplier, you're a partner. Please write that down. Vendor X, partner thumbs up. Once people see you as a partner, in a long-term selling relationship, it's a whole different story, right? Okay. Well, we're partying. Are we good to go for 10 minutes?
Sure.
Are you okay for 10 minutes?
Yep.
Keep going?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So demonstrate value. So you have to find out what are their biggest challenges, and then you have to demonstrate a solution that fits that challenge. The closer the fit, the higher the value. I could charge twice as much as another sales trainer, but if I have a fit for you, that they're like, oh my God, this is the guy. Okay, price is too high, but I see the value. Effort, easy. Time, he can do something tomorrow, right? Effectiveness, this guy works with companies all over the planet. This guy is the best, right? That fees, no problem. If you can hit all the other ones. The closer the fit, the higher the value. Let's say you have 7 people, and you need a car, and you see a 2-seater, and the 2-seater is really cheap, but the 7-seater is like twice as much as the 2-seater. It doesn't matter how cheap the 2-seater is, we don't fit. The closer the fit, the higher the value. So how to negotiate now? So negotiation, boy, I mean, not all of this could be like a one-day workshop, right? But in a nutshell, there's a few tips I'll share about negotiation. Number one, you've got to do your homework. So what does that mean? You have to know what's important, right? The witty. What's important to this customer? Who have they worked with before? What have they invested in solutions like this previously? You've got to do your homework. Right? In the same way someone walks into an electronics store and says, hey, I'm looking for a TV, you would ask them, hey, so I mean, do you have a TV now? Okay, cool. What brand? What size? Oh, 55-inch. Okay, cool. Are you looking for something similar, a bit bigger maybe, or smaller? Right? So you want to ask questions. You got to come prepared. Do your homework. You've also got to know what's your pitch. So you've got to prepare. What's your pitch? And by that I mean, what's your offer? You've got to prepare your offer. How much are you willing to discount, if at all? So that you know that there's a bottom, there's a threshold that I just won't go below that, right? And you've got to be firm with that, right? You've got to be firm. I had a company approach me last week. Hey, someone that I worked with a couple years ago for a big sales kickoff. Hey, another client has a sales convention. They got a small budget. Yeah, who doesn't, right? But when you dig deeper, no, they don't. But everyone says they have a small budget. What's your rate to do this or that? So I quoted her my usual rate that everybody pays. She comes back, can you do it for this? And I said, yes, I can do it for that lower number, and they're only going to get this. They're not getting this for that. Yes, if they only have this, we can do that, and they're going to get this. Right? So I'm a big believer in negotiation. I'll give you this if you give me that. Please write that down. I'll give you this if you give me that. People don't get a discount just because they smile nicely. They don't get a discount just because they asked sternly. They have to work for that discount. What's a discount for? Everybody wants a discount. Ask them why. Hey, can you give us a discount? Oh, that's interesting. Why? Why do you ask? They'll fall off their chair. What do you mean, why do I ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Why? Let them think about that. Let them think about that. Why should you freak out? Oh, discount. What? Why? And maybe share with them, there are few cases where I would offer a client a discount, and here are those scenarios. Do we fit any of those scenarios? I'm happy to offer you a discount if you pay in advance in full. Right? Because cash flow, who here wants more cash flow, yes or no? Okay, so something I'll offer my clients is I'll offer them a discount if they pay my full fee 100% prior to the engagement. My usual terms are 50% upon signing and then 50% upon delivery. As in, I don't walk back out that door without a check. All right? Case in point, I just got some, you know what I'm saying? That's not from him, but I'm just saying, this is something else, right? But those are the terms, right? It's 50% before, 50% for me to step on stage. If you want a discount, you pay me everything before I hop on that airplane. And for that, you get a 2% discount. I'm a cheap bugger. You get 2% discount, which, you know, hey, when your fees are as they can be, is, you know, it's better than a kick in the butt. And a lot of people just want to win. They're like, oh, fine, I'll take the 2% discount. Some companies have a policy where if they're offered a discount, they have to take it. Okay? So I'll give you this if you give me that. Yes, I'm happy to give you that discount if you purchase this amount of merchandise, right? I have some clients, and maybe you've heard this too. This is like the sucker for newbies. They get the newbies, so watch out. Watch out. No, really, watch out. New people. They go, we got a small budget on this project, okay? But there could be some opportunities for a lot of repeat business. Any of you ever heard that? BS, right? But there could be tremendous opportunities down the road. So, you know, if you give us a break on this one, then look at all this business back here. Shove it. Seriously. You think I'm like I just started yesterday? Oh, okay, right? If I had $1 for every, I'd be a rich man if that was the case. It doesn't happen. So it never happens. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You want to know how I answer that? Do you want to know how I answer that?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
I say, oh, that's great. That sounds wonderful. I'm more than happy to offer you such a discount upon confirmation of those future engagements. So if we lock those in today, I'll give you that discount. You good to go? Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, so you don't know then. Right? I don't give a discount on the dangled carrot of a hopeful spin-off business. I'm not an idiot. What do you take me for? Because they dangle that carrot for the newbie, and then, whoop, we got you really cheap. Any other newbies? Great, we'll go to the new newbie. And then, whoop, and then the next new newbie. I don't want you guys to be a sucker. So don't play that game. So I'll give you this if you give me that. I'll give you that discount you asked for the future engagements. Let's book those in now. Oh, you can't do that? Well, when you can, we'll talk about the discount then, right? Or I'll tell you what, oh, Tom, we're thinking of doing a second one next quarter. Can we get a discount here? No. I'm happy to talk about a discount when we confirm the second one. As a thank you for the repeat business. You don't get a thank you for potential repeat business. That doesn't make any sense. You don't score points for talking about doing something nice. It's got to happen. Is this useful?
Yes.
All right, so that's a negotiating tip right there. Push back. I got to tell you something. Companies, procurement people, your customers, they go to workshops learning how to negotiate with people like you. They go to workshops learning how to squeeze suppliers and squeeze vendors, man. I want to just give a little bit of power back to you guys. And then finally, retain customers, how to do it, and kick ass. I don't know how else to say it. Kick ass, say it however you want. Demonstrate to them and prove back to them, show them, check in with them, feedback with them, how you've helped them become more productive and or more profitable. You'll get repeat business. I'll also share a bonus tip. So you have to deliver. You know that E, effectiveness? You've got to be effective. So if ever you're wondering, hey, how come I keep losing customers? You suck. I just make life easy by saying things like this, so you can just go, oh, rather than like, I wonder. So, okay, that's why. We do lose through attrition, okay? People come and go, things change, people move on, okay? But if you've worked with a customer and for whatever reason they've decided to go with someone else now, we may not have fulfilled the promise, maybe they weren't happy, So that's a great opportunity to ask them, hey, I noticed that you didn't contact us that last time. You know, what's up? So one way for client retention is to stay in contact with them. Don't just follow up annually to try to renew that contract. Check in with them on a regular basis. After I do a sales training program, and we've automated this, 1 week after the program, an email goes out to the person that engaged me saying, hey, thanks for inviting me to work with your team. It was a real pleasure. I hope they found value in the session. Would you like to get together next Friday to kind of debrief the session and then talk about next step recommendations that I might have? That's like my generic template that goes out 1 week after the training. And then we have a 3-month email that goes out, hey, just checking in. I know we did the sales training about 3 months ago. It's very normal sometimes for teams to start performing well, but then they kind of hit a plateau and fall back into their old habits. My suggestion is to remind them of X, Y, Z, or here's a link to a video on this topic that we covered. Share that with the team and get them to watch it. So I'm adding value all the time, so I'm always in their face. You've got to be visible. Stay present. Otherwise, you'll just be forgotten. So many times you hear from someone and it's like, I haven't talked to you in a year. I've already signed up with someone else in that time, right? So you really have to, again, that's part of being a partner and not a vendor. So the key for retaining customers is, really deliver on your promise and be consistent. So here you have to be a little bit, and we don't say, hey, are you the boss, right? Because people might go, yeah, you talk to me. What I like to ask is, who else needs to be included in this meeting? Whose input on this project is vital? Who do we need to hear from? Who should be here with us right now? Who's missing? These are all, I've just given you 3 or 4 ways to basically ask, are you the man? Or is there someone else, right? Who has a stake in this project? I'm curious, Rajesh, thank you for your call. Who initiated this request? Oh, that would be my sales manager. When can we all meet? That's my favorite. When can we all meet? When can we all meet? Yes?
The answer I always get is, okay, we will have the presentation together and I'll deliver to my boss.
See, you're on this presentation thing. No, this is beautiful, right? Because a lot of us in business or sales are fixated with this presentation mentality where you have to meet with Rajesh to make your presentation. It's not about that. You say, look, I respect that, Rajesh. Let's say he's the guy that you're saying, I respect that, Rajesh, thank you. And I have some very important questions to ask your boss about the scope of this project that respectfully you may not be privy to. And there may be some things that come up in that conversation with your boss that is going to trigger some things in that meeting. So it's critical that I hear from his mouth to my ears what his requirements are for this project. See what I'm saying? You have to have a little bit of, you guys know what I'm talking about here? A little bit of right? Like, you have your way and I have my way. And I'll tell you why. And sometimes my wife works with me in the business, and sometimes when she hears me on the phone, she's like, but I'm as nice as I can be, but she's like, and then when I'm like, okay, great, so we'll meet at 10, she's like, wow. How'd you do that? I say, look, babe, if I just do that, and I single you out because you're reflective of most people. If I just do my presentation to the gatekeeper, especially if there's other people, other competitors, my chance of closing that deal is probably 25-30%.
Or less.
Okay, right? Or less. To me, that's a sucker's game. Life's too short. I don't have time. I don't have time for a hit rate of 25% or less. I don't. I consider that I'm going to lose this deal anyway. So I'm going to fight for the meeting with your boss. I am going to fight my last breath. I'm meeting your boss. Because I'm losing this deal anyway, bro. If I meet Rajesh, I'm screwed. Because what's he going to do? He's going to look at price. Because he can't say yes to anything big picture. He can't propose anything new. He has this scope of work. These are the terms that I need, and my boss asked me to talk to 3 vendors, and basically whoever does this for the cheapest will get this business. You understand? Some people have to work within the budget. I talk to people that set the budget. If I talk to a sales leader, CEO, managing director, and I go, yeah, we can do this, but it's going to cost more, and here's why. And here's what we'll also do for you guys. They're like, oh, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. Let's do that. They call HR and say, we need more money. Right? They can set the budget because they're the boss. So a final tip I'll share is make sure you're selling at the highest level possible. Sell to the highest level possible. Because when I sell to a CEO or a managing director or a sales director, and they say, we're doing this, you'd be shocked at how quickly things happen. When I tell someone we need a 50% deposit and then 50% upon delivery, you'd be surprised at how their traditional payment terms go away. Tom doesn't step into that room until he gets paid. Checks come. Money drafts come. Because you're dealing with the right person. It's just totally different. It's night and day, night and day. So please fight. This will be your task. Fight hard for the meeting with the boss. Fight for the meeting with the boss. Because I'll tell you, if you're good and you get that meeting, my wife tells me, if you got that meeting, they're screwed. Done. The deal's happening. If I get in that room, this is happening. So I know that. If I get in that door, I got a 100% chance of closing this deal. If I'm just some sucker sending a proposal on email, 25% maybe. No way, life's too short, man. I'm going to fight for it. So this is where everyone in this room as a business needs to understand, are they qualified to work with you? Is this an ideal customer for you, or are you just playing their game? Are you just kind of chasing their system? Do you have a chance of winning this, yes or no? So you know in your gut, do I have a good shot at winning this, or I don't really feel like we have a good chance? If you feel like you have that feeling of not a good chance very often, you're pitching to the wrong deals, the wrong companies, the wrong scenarios. Change your strategy a little bit. Maybe don't do that. In Singapore, we have something called GBiz, government biz. Some of my fellow speakers use the GBiz system to do government work. Well, government, they are slow payers, and they're notorious for wanting the lowest price and making you jump through hoops. So my fee is too high for GBiz, and I don't like jumping through hoops. And some of their policies is we don't meet with vendors. We don't meet with vendors. We just need you to fill this form in online and submit it, and what? That doesn't work for me, so I don't bid on those things. So I think everyone in this room has to determine who's my ideal target customer and go after more of those and drop the deadbeat ones.
But we have one business like this. Even in there were 3 vendors like World Trade Center, we're doing all their, you know, like some big clients, we're doing all their digital marketing and everything. So we have one business. Good. But the main thing is that now we are coming across a lot like this because obviously we're going to that level where we are actually pitching to those clients.
Sure.
And you know, they have this thing that they have to call 3 vendors.
Sure. Yeah.
So how do you?
So if it's new business,
yeah.
If it's new, then what I encourage you to do is to make sure that it's less of a pitch, less presentation, more consultative conversation. That's all I'll offer. Okay? Don't come in there with your, hi, so let me tell you about us, and here's my PowerPoint, and here's what we do. Less of that, and more about, you know what, I can tell you all about who we are and what we do. You've probably seen our website already.
Yeah.
I'm curious to learn more about you guys, your goals, and what you're working on. How will you know this project is a success? Who have you worked with before? What did you like, what did you not like? How will you know this project was a resounding success? What will happen if this doesn't work? What will happen if you actually pick the wrong vendor? Tell me what you liked about the other 2 vendors. Be bold enough to ask that question. Hey, what did you like about those guys? Because hey, they're good. So what did you like about them? Why do you ask? Because I want to make sure that we give you more of what you want and less of what you don't want.